Alright guys, this is Tacho here, and we've got some new information on an upcoming banner in Fire Emblem Heroes. It is the Ylissean Summer banner, so it's pretty much the dreaded swimsuit banner that we all knew was coming at some point. All the characters are in bikinis and swim trunks, so it's pretty much a fan service banner, and also these units are going to be available for one time only. So, or at least we don't know yet. They may come back in the future, but there is a disclaimer on the banner that says these units are probably going to be one time only. So think about that before you decide to summon. And another thing about this banner is that it was actually data mined a couple of days ago. So we have the base stats for these characters, and I will talk about that as well as I talk about their skills. So let's get started here. We're going to start things off with Tiki. She is a green axe and she is infantry. So her weapon is Melon Crusher Plus, which has 14 might, and if unit is at full HP at the start of combat, unit gets attack, speed, defense, and res plus 2, and if attacking, unit will take 2 damage after combat. So okay, this is pretty similar to Ragnarok that Celica had. It's giving her automatic stat buffs as long as she is at full health, but she will be taking chip damage after she attacks. But I would say, though, overall, this is definitely better than the gimmick we saw on the Bridal Blessings banner, where all the weapons there were going to give allies from 2 spaces away plus 2 defense and res. So I think this is a much better gimmick for these weapons to have. And her special skill is Soul, which is going to heal 50% of damage dealt, which you actually can't use this to fix the recoil damage you take from Melon Crusher. Because how it works is you're going to proc Soul during combat and it's going to heal your HP. But the chip damage from Melon Crusher does not actually come until after combat resolves. So you can't use Soul to fix the recoil damage you take from Melon Crusher, which is a little bit of an oversight, and I would say you may want to change Soul as her special skill due to that. Her passive A skill is Close Defense 3, which happens to be the sister to Distant Defense 3 that Celica had. And if unit is attacked by foe using a sword, axe, lance, or dragonstone, unit receives defense and res up 6 during combat. So it's pretty much built for the melee type units. Not bad at all. Getting plus 6 defense and res is going to help you take on the melee units a whole lot easier. And her final skill here is Axe Valor 3, which if unit survives, all axe users on the team get double SP. Okay, now we're talking. I actually asked for a skill like this in a previous video. I think it was the one where I talked about the Echoes of Mystery banner, because Athena had Sword Experience 3, and I was like, you know, these are not really that good, because this game is all about grinding SP rather than grinding for experience, and I'm happy to know that Intelligent Systems actually took my advice and they went ahead and gave us some SP boosting skills there. So that's really great, and it's definitely going to come in handy. So if you're trying to teach new skills to your characters, this is going to be a big deal. Okay, so let's move on and talk about her stats for a bit. She's got 35 health, 36 attack, 30 speed, 32 defense, and 24 res. So how does she stack up against the other axe units in the game? Well, she's got the same attack as both Hector and Legion, who are 2 of the better green axes you can use. But unlike Hector, she doesn't have distant counter and also built-in quick repost on her weapon. And unlike Legion, she does not have 35 speed. She does in fact have 32 defense and 24 res, which is more res than Hector, but still less defense than Hector, and then way more defense and res than Legion. He is not really meant to take hits. But Legion is more of an offensive unit. You would want him to probably be a Brave Axe user and try to get doubles right away. So I would say actually Tiki kind of falls in the middle, and she doesn't really excel at either of the jobs that these axes do, like how Hector is probably the best tanky axe unit, and then Legion is probably the best offensive axe unit. So Tiki falls in the middle. Whether or not you're going to want to summon her due to that is up to you. Okay, so moving on to the next unit. So we've got Frederick coming up next, and before I start talking about him, a cool thing to note is that his voice actor, Kyle Hebert, actually does the voice acting for adult Gohan in Dragon Ball. So if you guys are Dragon Ball Z fans, then comment down below and let me know. I'm also a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and it's pretty awesome to have really familiar voice actors doing the voices in this game. So anyway, let's start talking about his skills. His weapon is Seashell Plus, which has 10 might and 2 range. It's a dagger, so he's a colorless dagger, and foe takes defense and res -7 until the end of foe's next action, and if unit has 100% HP at the start of combat, attack speed, defense, and res up 2, and after attacking, unit takes 2 chip damage. So it's pretty much going to be the same gimmick on all these characters, but this is actually probably the best weapon in the whole set, because it's a dagger and it has 10 might, which is already pretty good. That's as strong as the silver dagger, and the only dagger that is stronger than this is Jafar's. So that's already strong, and then you take into account the attack up 2 that you're getting if you're at full health. That bumps the might of this weapon up to 12, so that's really powerful actually. That makes this the strongest dagger in the game. So moving on to his assist skill, he's got Ardent Sacrifice. Pretty good. It's just going to heal an ally by 10 HP, and then he's going to take 10 HP's worth of damage. Pretty good for fodder, and also pretty good on any unit in general. And then he's got Armored Blow 3, which is going to give him defense up 6 during combat as long as he initiates. So that's going to help him out a bit if he's attacking someone like a bow maybe that has a chance to counterattack him. Though it's not as helpful since he's not a melee type, because melee types are generally the ones that will be at risk of taking physical attack damage. Might have been a little better if he had Warding Blow 3 instead. And then his unique skill is Seal Attack and Speed 2. And after combat, inflicts attack and speed -5 on the foe through their next action. So this actually combos pretty well with his Seashell Plus, since that one does defense and res -7, and then this one does attack and speed -5. This guy is pretty much just built to wreck the opponent's stats and make them a whole lot less of a threat. So I like it. He's got some pretty cool skills there. So let's talk about his stats for a bit. He's got 40 HP, he's got 32 attack, he's got 31 speed, 28 defense, and 18 res. I kind of wish that his res and his defense were swapped, because that would have helped him out quite a bit. Because like I said, the range units generally have to fight against mages, so it would have been a little more beneficial if he had more res than defense. But I would say Kagero and Gaius are definitely better daggers than him in terms of stats. Kagero's got way more attack and speed, and then Gaius is way faster and has not that much of a difference in terms of attack. Okay, moving on to the next unit, we've got Gaius here, and let me just say, guys, I am not gay, but Gaius is a very sexy man. So yeah, ladies out there, comment down below, let me know what you think of this guy's artwork. So let's start talking about his skills. He's got Refreshing Bolt Plus, which is a colorless bow. It's got 12 might, and if unit is at full health, attack speed, defense, and res up 2. And after attacking, he takes 2 chip damage. So pretty much the same thing we've seen with all these other weapons so far. And it's also effective against flyers since it is of course a bow. So not bad. And his special skill is Astra, which is a 5-hit cooldown, and it's going to give 150% added to damage dealt. You're probably going to want to change that. I don't think you're going to want to use Astra. If you wanted to use a 5-hit cooldown skill, then you're better off with Aether for the arena, because it also costs more skill points to buy Aether, so it's going to score higher in the arena, and then the Luna effect is way better than this. So I would say definitely change his special to something that's going to give you a little better mileage. He's got Vantage 3 as his passive B skill, which doesn't quite help this guy so much because he is a ranged unit, he has a bow. Vantage is more superior on the melee type units that can counter from 2 spaces, because that way they can just hit anybody and they will be able to hit first when they have below 75% health. But it's not too good on this Gaius here, because if a melee unit runs up and hits him, he can't really counter them first anyway, since he can't counter from 1 space. Unless, of course, you gave him close counter, but that's another story altogether. And then his final skill is Defense Ploy 3, which At the start of the turn, all foes in cardinal directions with res 1 or more lower than unit suffer defense -5 until the foe's next action. So pretty much the same thing as attack ploy 3 that Katarina had. Pretty cool skill. It's going to let you snipe at opponents from far away and lower their stats to make it easier to finish them off when you actually end up meeting against them in combat. So pretty good skill there. You got to have 1 more res, but that's not too hard to do. And then for his base stats, he's got 34 health, 30 attack, 37 speed, 19 defense, and 28 res. Okay, so he's actually very fast. He's just as fast as Setsuna. Except the catch here is that he has way more attack than her. So this guy is a pretty solid bowman. He's really good. I would say if you didn't manage to summon Bride Cordelia, or if you don't really want to use Takumi, then this guy is probably going to be your best bet for a bow user. He's got really good stats. Having such high res is very nice on a bow. And also it's going to come into play with his defense ploy 3. So I like this Gaius. He's pretty cool. Okay, and last up we've got Robin here. I'm kind of a little disappointed that it's not a Bikini Lucina instead, but that's just my own personal preference in terms of waifu. And also Robin, she's kind of like a bookworm, so I'm not really into those types of girls. So comment down below actually, guys, and let me know how you feel about the waifu Robin here. But anyway, she's got Deft Harpoon Plus as her weapon. It is a blue lance, and it's got 14 might. If unit has full health, attack, speed, defense, and res up 2. And after attacking, she's going to take 2 chip damage. So again, the same thing as all these other characters have. Really cool gimmick, actually. Way better than the other gimmick we had on the Bridal Blessings banner. So pretty cool weapon there. She has Reposition as her assist skill, which is one of the best actually in the game. Everyone knows how good Reposition is. And then she has HP and defense up 2 as her A slot skill. It's going to give her HP up 4 and defense up 2. That's actually interesting. HP up 4 is a whole lot better than getting HP up 2, you know? So I'm not really sure how this is going to work out. It's definitely going to make her a lot tankier against the melee type opponents. So it's actually pretty cool, but overall there's just way more skills in the A slot. It's probably the most competitive slot for the passives, so you definitely have options there to replace that. And then she has Lance Valor 3, which if unit survives, all Lance users on the team get double SP. So it's the same thing that Tiki had, where axes are going to get double SP if she survives. So really good. And her base stats are 35 HP, 32 attack, 34 speed, 28 defense, and 29 res. Okay, this is actually really interesting to talk about because she has above average defense and res, so that's really nice. And then on top of that, her speed is surprisingly good. She has 34 speed and 32 attack as well. That's not bad at all. So this Robin is actually a very good lance unit. She can take hits from both ends of the spectrum. She has a pretty good chance to double if you've got plus speed as her nature, and then you're getting the +2 speed from her weapon. And you can even buff that even more if you gave her something like Swift Sparrow 2 or Fury 3 or anything to augment her speed even more. And she's not weak at all. With 32 attack, that's pretty solid. So that's pretty much it for the breakdown, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. As far as whether or not you're going to want to summon on this banner, that's going to be up to you. I would say if you're a collector, then of course you're going to want to summon because these are going to be limited time only units. But if you're just looking to summon to increase the strength of your barracks, I guess, and get some better options for you to use in the arena, then I would say that this banner is probably not the banner for you. What we're really seeing here is mostly skill fodder, and then aside from that Robin, most of the units are statistically not in first place for the roles that they do. They are pretty okay options though. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the video. This is your boy Tacho signing out, so cheers, have a great day, and I hope to see you again soon.